Welcome, everyone. This is Off the Court with OG, presented by Zenni Gaming, the podcast that grants you access to Nets Gaming Crew's general manager and head coach, OG King Kurt, as the team battles the rest of the NBA 2K League throughout Season 5. We were live 2 weeks ago for our 25th anniversary episode because, why not celebrate a fun benchmark in this content series? But we thought we'd record another episode live for you today because a lot has changed since we were last on the air and since we last spoke. And it's why, a lot of you are here tonight and maybe tuning in to the archive version of this episode. For those who aren't aware, we made a trade recently, sending Tate to Hornets Venom GT in exchange for point guard King Haad. No picks, just a clean swap of starting point guards who were taken 46th and 49th overall, respectively, in the NBA 2K League draft. Now, without further ado, we'll add our two main attractions now, OG King Kurt and the newest member of the crew, King Haad. Gentlemen, welcome to Off the Court episode 26, presented by Zenni Gaming. How are we feeling?
I'm feeling good. Glad to be doing another live episode. And obviously, we have a new player that we acquired. So I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Feeling good to be here.
That's awesome. That's great. I love that you're here. Love that we get you like literally 2 days after the trade has happened. You're already in Brooklyn. You're on the show, the quickest debut ever. Like always, we encourage everyone in the chat to leave your questions. If you want to ask Kurt or Haad anything, you have them for like maybe the next 20, 25 minutes or so. And we'll try to get through as many as possible. If not, we'll go through our own list of questions. Kurt, I guess we'll kind of really start with you. Your name is on the show after all. I'll ask you a two-parter here because I feel like I know you'll want to acknowledge this part first before we really dive into things. But first off, talk to us a little bit about Mike, aka Tate. What kind of person is Hornets Venom GT getting, and how difficult is it to have that trade discussion with one of your players?
Well, yeah, I think I think the world of Mike. I mean, as a young kid. Really came in and gave it everything that he had. Just for me, I felt like it probably wasn't the best fit for him. And when it came time to make that decision, I wanted to make sure that he was going somewhere where, somebody was going to take care of him, and pretty much as I attempted to do. And, I think it's a good home for him. I think they're getting a kid that's going to get up every day and, try to give it his best. And that's all you can ask for at the end of the day. But I just wanted to go in a different direction. I knew what I wanted to get out of the point guard that we have. And it just came a time where I felt like we wasn't getting that. And I just wanted to shake something up. This season is obviously a lot different.
Mm-hmm.
Every game counts. Points matter, so to speak. So, didn't really have too much time to sit around. We felt like I had to make a move, and we did that. And I'm pretty much happy with that. And I think Haad, he understands his role and responsibility of what we're looking for and what we want. And I know he's only been here a short time, but he's definitely attempted to do that. So I couldn't be more happier than what I've seen thus far.
Yeah, and I remember. Just after the draft and when all the players were heading, in a market, and we have all these, scouts and coaches and people who just aspire to be GMs and be in the position that you are in right now, Kurt. And I remember you talking to me about how, you met Mike's family when they were moving in. People, I feel like people don't get or truly understand how much more there is to being just, a head coach than 2K when it comes to the 2K League.
No, it definitely is. And I think, to answer that second part, it's not the easiest conversation to have, when it comes time to make a trade or anything like that, because I don't think any general manager drafts a player to actually, trade them. I mean, but my responsibility at the end of the day is to do what's best for the organization. And in doing so, you have to, unfortunately, have those tough conversations. But yeah, being a GM is it's a serviceable job, to say the least. I mean, it's more than just drafting players and focusing on the 2K aspect of it. So it's a lot that comes with it. I mean, and having to make tough decisions, on a daily basis is not the easiest thing, but ultimately that's what I'm paid to do, and you have to live with them, and I think for me, I don't my best work is of course ahead of me, but I think I've done a solid job in doing so. So we just have to wait and see how we capitalize off the latest move here.
Now, Haad, we thought we lost you there for a second. Welcome back. Very quickly, before we kind of give the mic to Haad here, Kurt, what intrigued you about Haad as a player, and what got you to kind of draw that? What did he do to kind of get your interest in him when looking at potential players to pick up?
Yeah, I felt like a lot of times in this league, it's more. It's not so much more about the talent of a player. It's more so the environment and where the player is at. I mean, I think most of the time you're going to thrive if you're in an environment that's suitable for you. And I think also relationships matter at the end of the day. I think Streets had history with Hyde, and I think that's important too, especially for a rookie point guard to have some ties to some of the teammates. Coming into your first year, having them to lean on and talk to and bounce things off of. I think that's very important. So for me, I looked at that, and Streets has been sturdy for us, about as good as it gets at the lockdown position. So just having that chemistry, I think was going to be very important.
Of course. Finally, let's talk about, or let's talk to the man right here, King Haad, your newest point guard for Nets Gaming Crew. Haad, let's start from the beginning. Where were you when you initially found out about the trade, and kind of walk us through how that conversation went?
When I first heard about the trade, it was like 11 o'clock. We were getting ready for practice. I was getting ready. I was getting dressed and stuff. Wes told me to meet him where our apartment is. We have little entertainment spots. He told me to meet him there so we could talk. When I got there, we sat down. First thing he said was, "Thank you for everything you've done," and basically told me that he traded me to Brooklyn. He told me why. It was I kind of just said thank you to him because it was giving me a second opportunity, a second chance. Because what Kurt was saying, to pick up off what he was saying, the people you're around, it really matters a lot on the court. It affects you. So certain fits definitely make a player look better than what he is, or make him look worse than what he is.
Of course. Fit is everything. You wanna. It just that doesn't just apply to the NBA 2K League. I think it applies to all sports in general, and anywhere really where you work for a living. For those who aren't totally familiar with your game, I know there's some people in the chat right now shouting you out who may be, but for those who aren't familiar with your play style, explain your style of play and what kind of point guard our followers can expect to see on the court.
My style of play has always been since I started playing, it's been a scorer. But coming into the league, I knew things would be different, things would change. That's one thing I can say I took from the Hornets. They were starting to try to turn me into a floor drone. And sometimes it was a little too much of trying to make me a floor drone, but it still taught me a lot. It still showed me things that I could add to my game.
For sure. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's good. Other than that, though, yeah, you should have they should expect to see me scoring and get my team involved, making sure that Doc and Shots still get their numbers and still produce so that we can win.
Got you. And we can't wait to see what that product looks like on the court. For those who aren't aware, right, the NetsGC returns to 5v5 play in group play of the Turn, the NBA 2K League's annual midseason tournament. Remember, everyone, if you have any questions for any of these gentlemen, please leave them in the chat. This is Off the Court with OG. We've got OG and King Haad on the podcast, brought to you by Zenni Gaming. Visit zenni.com/netsgc for the best variety, the best frames, and the best protection against blue light. Kurt, I know the only, like, just kind of, getting to know you through season 5, I know really the only opinions you truly matter, or that truly matter to you, are the ones in-house, right? But for those who aren't sure why you made the trade, help them see a little bit clearly. Why did you feel like now was a good time to shake things up? I know you kind of mentioned just the new format that the league is using in season 5, but why did you make it at this moment? Why could it not wait?
Well, I always say that 6 months is a long but short time, and right now we're hitting towards that mid-season point, and with everything on the line, which is with this season, that every game matters, as far as accumulating points and also qualifying for group play, and in hopes of making the playoffs. I just felt like it's all about urgency, and overall just I wasn't sensing that, and I didn't feel like it was a need to wait and see, if anything was going to change. I think for me, once we came back off the bye week, we had almost a week of practice, and I was hoping through that bye week that everybody was going to recharge, come back, and maybe I see some differences, in that sense of urgency. But I didn't, and I felt like we needed to do something to shake it up. I mean, our defense has been sturdy throughout the season. It's carried us for the most part. I think there's been no secret of some of our half court struggles here and there. So I think just trying to bring in some new energy and wake us up a little bit, I thought it was the best thing to do. I mean, at this point, it's either when you get to the turn, it's either some teams go upward or some teams go backwards, and I didn't want to be the team that I felt like, if I knew that we had an issue, beforehand, I didn't want to be looking after the turn and saying I should have done this or should have did that or whatever. I felt like I did what was best at that moment. We have yet, we're starting tomorrow. We'll see how everything pans out, but I'm pretty confident, in this team. I think, the point guard position has been a, up and down, up and down situation for us this year, but I definitely think, Haad, he coming from a situation where, he just came off, leading Hornets Venom to the 3v3, which is, we had some struggles in that. And also, we got off to a hot start in 5v5. And I feel like we'll be able to maintain that going into the group play tomorrow. But definitely, I think something that I learned from AB, Alton Bird, who's the senior vice president of growth properties, who oversees Long Island Nets and NetsGC, is that he told me to trust my gut. And in the past, I've had a problem doing that. But when it came time to make this move, I really trust it, and I'm going to be confident in it and see it all the way through.
I love it. And we always talk about how, not always, but it's for those who follow the league, it's common knowledge that there's a meta that, has its tweaks and changes every year, but there's not really a lot of discussion on platforms that talk about the different quote unquote meta that the general managers and coaches have to deal with, whether it's a change in, how the draft works or how acquisitions work. And so it's a very tricky kind of like minefield to kind of navigate through. So, you trusting your gut as AB kind of preaches is pretty sound advice to follow. I want to go to one of the questions in the chat. I'm going to assume the 5 is an S, and it's Scouty. And he asks, not sure if it's already asked, but what is Haad most looking forward to when it comes to his new team over at NetsGC? So, Haad, what are you most looking forward to with playing with these guys?
Well, what I was mostly looking forward to, I've kind of already noticed it. It's like just practicing for these 2 days, I've noticed the vibes on court. Like our tolerance for things is high, so we're not really losing our mind over something small. So it feels good to like know you can mess up and be able to get it back, or your teammates gonna pick you up.
I like that, like your tolerance for hardships and hurdles. It's something that I feel like if there was a way to accurately gauge that every pre-draft, Kurt, I think we would be flying, man. No, but I like that, a tolerance for that kind of stuff, because I mean, it's every 2K League team goes through the ups and downs of a long and grueling season. So I like that response, Prince. NetsGC and every team in the league are always looking for players like that every offseason. Obviously, with us in the middle of season 5, we're currently not looking at any particular free agents, but please, by all means, we strongly encourage you to check out the league next offseason. The league's constantly growing, constantly evolving, so stay tuned for that. Shout out to Mama Flack, who's in the chat right now. Smelly faces as well. We appreciate you guys for tuning in. This is episode 26 of Off the Court with OG. Our newest player over at the crew, King Haad, joins myself and Kurt on the show, presented by Zenni Gaming. Haad, Scout just asked you, what you're most looking forward to, but let's backtrack a little bit. When you were a member of Hornets Venom GT, what was your, like, as an opponent, what was your opinion of the team? And how did you feel like you could best help these guys?
Well, playing y'all in the tip off, I noticed like our plan going in was that let the offense beat us. Like try to make the minimum of mistakes we can, like because the defense is going to carry. We knew that coming in playing, that the defense was going to be good, the offense was going to be slow. So I think we lost that game 69-73. I think y'all beat us by 4, and it was just a lot of mistakes. So I knew coming here I could help this team by scoring. Like that's what the problem is. Like if they didn't, I noticed that if Doc wasn't scoring on breaks off of their stops on defense, the offense will look slower. Like it would look like it's not flowing and they don't really got nothing going on. So coming in and being able to put Doc in good situations, being able to put shots in good situations to create or just score for himself, that's what I'm looking at.
Honestly, that doesn't surprise me. This show really prides itself on trying to kind of give you guys, or like peel back the layers. And I loved Kurt's response from earlier and did that. And Haad, your response just reminded me of when you were initially invited to the team group chat. And one of the first things you dropped in the chat was, okay, like, can someone show me data on this, and this, so I can find out where to get, Connor and Doc his shots and their shots? And you got a big reaction. And the way you can kind of approach the game in your own unique method is going to be exciting to watch. I know you're a Philly guy, Haad. What are your initial thoughts on Brooklyn so far?
It's kind of like home, like the atmosphere and stuff. Like just the sightings, like it's like downtown in Philly. The only difference is, of course, the population. Like it's just a lot more people. Like you see a lot more people walking by. But for the most part, it's been the same. I'm kind of like used to the city.
Got you. Quick shout out to Banana Anna 15 in the chat as well. Kurt, I don't know. You probably remember you being in that Spaces that one night during the tip off. I think it was the night we played as Haad had mentioned, Hornets Venom GT. That game went down the wire, and you and Coach West were in a nice little entertaining back and forth in that Twitter Spaces. Is this the next chapter in the NetsGC versus Hornets Venom GT rivalry? Like you trade playoff elimination victories first. You guys trade sending each other home early for the off season, and now you're trading starting point guards. Like, is this just the next step in that rivalry?
You know, it's interesting you said that because I mean, obviously, when we're going through all this, we're not even thinking about that. But definitely, you have to add it to it. We would only see them in the turn probably through bracket play. So that'll be interesting in itself. But definitely, you can add that to the list of banter with me and West. Like I told him, still at the end of the day, he's defending his crown, so to speak, with this upcoming return tournament. I think it definitely would be a good story if we can put ourselves in position to be able to hoist that up in a couple of weeks. But definitely, let's keep note of that and see what happens throughout this exchange of point guards.
Just the idea of Brooklyn and Charlotte, going against each other in the turn bracket play with Haad and Tate on opposite sides. It sounds real spicy just kind of thinking of it. So I can't wait for that. Haad, I know you got close, right, with the guys over at Hornets Venom GT. I saw I think it was like a farewell tweet to the guys. But how much are you like? I'm assuming you're looking forward to playing against them.
Nah, it's always fun to play against the guys, But I'm not really the type of person where it's like a super hate for them, where I'm really like pressed to play against them, where it changed my play style, changed my mindset. I'm not that type of person. I'm not even thinking that deep into it. Like seriously, it's not really that deep for me. Like we played them. It's the same way I feel about any other team. Like we want to win. No personal thing, none of that.
Yeah, stay locked in regardless of who's on the other side of that stage. I love it. I guess really my last question for you guys, and you guys can kind of both take a shot at answering this, is what are the challenges of trying to build or establish that team chemistry in such a short amount of time? Because just in a matter of days, Haad, right? Like, you find out about the trade from Coach West. You're on a plane. You've packed your stuff. You're in a brand new city, brand new environment, learning new teammates and tendencies, etc. The list goes on and on. So how tricky is it to kind of build that chemistry up, knowing you have a huge 5 games coming up in the turn?
It's actually that was the only thing like I was worried about. Like when I heard about the trade, the timing of it, like it happened so fast, and it really gave us no time to play together and work together. Like we really only had 2 days of practice, and then we going into our game. So it's definitely challenging. It's actually really challenging. Like especially trying to pick up on how each other play and stuff like that. I'm trying to make it easier by okay, so with the Hornets, we had like certain plays we would run. I brought a few with me so that we could still use them just if our chemistry itself didn't go along the way.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think for me, like how I said, like it happened so fast. It was actually me and Wes talked about it. It was our first ever in-season trade. So just to give people some context about that, like you literally, you sign the paperwork, you send it in, it gets approved. You start booking travel. Now both players are leaving, their markers. You have to get the apartments cleaned out, everything done like that. Provide transportation to and from the airport. Like a lot of different things, went into it. And like just thinking about the player, he finds out he's getting traded within 48 hours. He's in a new market, trying to get acclimated, not only professionally, but socially.
Right.
We start practicing the next day, so he's jumping right into it. Of course, within the league, you got to get, new accounts. He had to get a number switch because Doc wore number 12. Also in the process of getting, his jersey and stuff done like that and everything. So, um, it's a whirlwind for both players to have to travel and hop off planes and be ready to compete in this upcoming week. So, I think the one thing about it for me, as I always say within this league, is that it's all you're always going new opportunities are always going to arrive, and it's how you meet them. And I think sometimes if you call yourself a competitor, when you put in those type of situations, you forced to respond, and you really see what type of player and person you're dealing with. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how not only we handle this week, but he handles this week, and going forward, he knows that he has the support from me. He had the support from the rest of the team and the rest of the organization. So I think we'll be just fine.
Yeah, I think you guys will be just fine too. But I can't even imagine I'm sure you feel no pressure, Haad. So I'm not putting this on you, but I can't even imagine the pressure of, hey, I'm moving to a new city. We've got maybe 24 to 48 hours till our next game, and oh, by the way, we're playing for a prize pool of $250,000. So a lot of big things coming the next 2 weeks. Before I think DJ's in the chat right now, Haad, and he says I got a question. But he's leaving us in suspense, perhaps because he hasn't dropped the questions. We'll give him a second there. But Scouty from earlier, he asks, since it's been such a short time, how has that transition been going for you so far, Haad?
Transitions, it's been pretty smooth. Like, everything has been really easy. Team made me feel comfortable. They trust me a lot. So everything has been really good. Like, we walk to practice together every day, have our little talks and laughs, get in, practice, work. The scrims, there's up days, down days. We don't really never get too mad. So, yeah, things have been smooth. Like, and as far as the pressure, like, I'm not really the way I am. I just adjust. Like, me worrying about the pressure or thinking about it, complaining about how much time we have left, it's not going to really do nothing for me. It ain't going to make anything better. So, really just got to adjust quickly.
For sure. Any final words or thoughts, last words from you before we see you guys take the court and before we see you, Kurt, coach the team tomorrow night at 8 p.m. against Hawks Talon GC?
No, I want to say thanks for everybody tuning into the stream, and DJ, the scrims win as usual today. You win some, you lose some, but at the end of the day, the key word is scrims. So that's pretty
DJ's
standard.
Funny. DJ's funny.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to tipping off this week. We play Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, and we want to get back on the saddle and continue what we've done from the tip off. So pretty much that's it for me.
Haad, final thoughts from you?
Final thoughts from me. I just would like to say tomorrow's going to be very interesting. It's going to really give people what they want to see. We had no time to get together and really figure everything out, but we're going to go out there and we're going to hoop. You're going to see that we want to win. You're going to see that things going to be good. This trade was really worth it. Because a lot of people are confused, don't really know why it happened, feel like it was pointless. Really just want everybody to see that.
Yeah, I'm excited. We'll get 3 cracks at it, 3 opportunities to kind of see this new team in action, as Kurt alluded to, tomorrow against Hawks Talon GC at 8 p.m., then a back-to-back the following day against Magic Gaming at 10 p.m., and then we'll cap off the week against the defending champions, Wizards District Gaming, at 10 p.m. as well. Mama Flack, we this. We appreciate the support, especially the local support. Thank you so much to everybody that was in the chat tonight, who left the questions, who interacted with us, and kind of took part in the celebratory introduction of King Haad, the newest point guard for NetsGC. Again, if you haven't already, subscribe to our Twitch channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whichever social platform you prefer. If you're watching on Twitch tomorrow, also make sure to view if you want to check out our full game, you can do so by clicking and using the command center feature. Make sure to follow NetsGC. If you dropped a question in the chat tonight, again, we appreciate your support. We've appreciated all season long. Please continue to do so. And if you weren't live with us, you can still interact with the show, with Off the Court with OG. Just email us your questions, comments, whatever to NetsGC mailbag at bseglobal.net. With that out of the way, on behalf of Kurt, on behalf of King Haad, and everyone over at NetsGC, I'm Christian Charisma, and this was Off the Court with OG, presented by Zenni Gaming. Let's talk again soon.